Hey guys, welcome to Off the Reservation, a show developed and honed through 10 rigorous years in the Octagon under Master Seafood John. And you too can become a master for 20 easy payments of $1.35. I'm your number one wizard, Mal.
I'm El.
And I'm the son of Picasso.
The son of Sifu.
Master Seafood.
Master Sifu.
Roundhouse kick to the face.
Where are these bad boys? Think anyone thinks I'm a failure because I go home to Starlight Night? Forget about it.
Forget about it.
That's
Oh,
classic.
man.
Classic.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
That is a great movie.
People knock that movie, but it's just like hitting the right spot, at the right time.
You know, Uncle Rico.
It's not what I meant.
You know, Uncle Rico was my hero. Wearing those vests and everything.
Yes. Hey guys, welcome to the show.
Oh, welcome. So yeah, before we got too far, some boys that have really gone out there, got the training, they've been doing it for some time. We like to do a shout out to Tosa East boys volleyball. We got your guys' stickers when we wanted our stickers, but we became aware of your guys' career now, and we're following you. So you better follow us. You better listen in.
You better follow us. Hope that's not a threat.
You'll feel it if it's a threat.
You'll know if it's a threat.
You'll know.
It's not.
But
I promise.
yeah, shout out to you guys.
Yeah. How have you guys been, man?
Pretty good. How about you?
Yeah.
It's
Can't
been,
complain.
It's been going.
Man, this last week and a half, it's been super humid here because it's just, which is great because we're in a drought, man. We really need the moisture.
Yeah, in the desert, it's water's life, man.
Yeah, no, but we've had these
Water
rolling
is life.
thunderstorms come in, and we're from the Southwest, and it's dry. It's dry out here, man.
I get chizzy really easily.
Yeah, I'm not bred for the humidity. Like we have family in Oklahoma, and every time we've ever gone out there, I can't handle it. I can't do it. I mean, you went to school in Oklahoma.
Yeah,
right?
I lived there for a minute.
Yeah.
And eventually you kind of get used to it.
You acclimate to it.
Yeah, but the first few months, man, I was just running from the building to the next building, just dying of the heat, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, it's too sticky for me, man.
Yeah, well, and so that's the thing. It's it's just all this I'm thankful for the rain, but I'm man,
I don't know how they do it because people would be playing football on the quad and it'd be 110 with the heat index, and I'm just no, man, that's just
I'm not okay with that.
I'm gonna head inside.
Yeah.
Catch you guys later. Oh man. Yeah, no, it has been nice though. But yeah, I mean we're hit monsoon season, so
Yeah,
and it really kicked off, man.
I know. I'm happy about it. But I mean, speaking of the season, we're going into prep season for Indian market,
Oh,
right?
I know. We're
It's right around the corner for you guys, right? Yeah.
to be perfectly honest with you, I have to say that I already started 2 months ago getting ready for it.
Oh,
because
you
it's-
got to.
Yeah.
Oh, you almost never stop.
Yeah.
As soon as it ends, it's okay, what I got to do next year?
I mean, it's on.
It's we've talked about market before, a little bit before, but why don't you guys explain a little bit more in depth about what exactly it is and what it is, what it means.
It's kind of cool because this actually is their 100th year anniversary of having the show.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty big show this year. I mean, it's always a big show, but this is their 100th year anniversary. So it's supposed to be even bigger than the last few years. So
Oh, nice.
it's kind of, I don't want to say added more pressure to it, but you always want to bring your best work to a show like this.
Oh, I always bring my best work. Spend hours and hours in the shower trying to master it all.
Hone your skills.
Yeah. Trying to come up with new ideas.
I'm honing my skills. Leave me alone.
Well, so for those of you that don't know, it's just put on by SWAYA, the organization that puts it on, and it's put on every year. Like you said, you said this is 100 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, man. And
And it takes place during August. I think this year it's going to be the 20th through the 21st in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's a lot of fun. You get to go, like, it's not just art. You know, you get fashion, you got music, a lot of music. You get to see some of the pueblos. They have some of their dancers that come and
they take over Santa
like
Fe
literally
for like
take over the whole
the whole like downtown Santa Fe, New Mexico for like a weekend, like 3 or 4 days straight, right? And like you said, it's not just art. It's like a big conglomerate of like everything.
It's like a festival.
Yeah.
Like I tell people, like it's like Miami Art Basel, just like Southwest based. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things where you can't take in all at once. You have to like break it up over days to just see everything. And like this year too, like for those of you who don't know, like I started my own clothing brand, and so this year I'm like producing a fashion show as well. So it's just one more thing that I have to do, and
throwing more on your plate.
Oh yeah. And you know, you always want to do your best work, like Mal was saying. So it's like I looked at it and I was like, man, I gotta start getting ready for market as soon as I possibly can. So you know, it's one of those things where like over the past year I've stashed away work. You know, like, oh, this is too cool, I gotta put this away and save it for the show.
And honestly, in preparation for like Indian market, I mean, like we have other shows that we do throughout the year, but I mean, when you find something that you're like, man, this is really good, this will really go over well for Indian market, you might hold it back from all these other shows. And so just for that, just for, you know, Indian market, man, it's the time, it's the place.
Well, I think you've described it. Oh, sorry, San Picasso. You've described it before as like kind of like the Mecca. Like the Southwest art world, you know?
Yeah, they say it's like the biggest Native American fine art market in the continental United States.
And we get people from everywhere coming in, you know, to not just sell, but, you know, to meet and greet with each other. So,
I've met like French people, German people, English people.
Yeah.
It's always fun meeting people from all over the world.
Yeah. You know, it's neat because people do travel from like across the pond.
Yeah.
You know, and so, yeah. Cool. Hey, we're going to take a quick break, guys, and we're going to talk to you a little bit more about
Indian market.
That's the one.
Yeah.
All right.
Dramatic pauses.
Yeah, dramatic pauses.
Woo, dang. And we're back.
Man, you had to like be there, like when Wu-Tang dropped. Like I remember like kids getting in fights and like punching people and just shouting Wu-Tang, and you're like, why? But at the same time, like it just is like made sense.
You know, honestly, I don't know how like Wu-Tang got brought up in this episode, but I feel happy about it. You know? Wu-Tang.
I'm not mad at it.
I'm not mad at it.
Oh, man.
But yeah, so we're back after those lovely intermediate things, and I guess we were gonna talk about I guess how we're prepping for this. And Son of Picasso, how are you prepping for? What's your process? What you doing? What you up to?
Oh man, well, I mean, for those of you who don't know, I'm an artist, like a painter. And I'm also a fashion designer. So there's like two different sides of the brain. At least that's what it feels like sometimes. And so I started painting like 2 months ago, getting things ready for it. And it's kind of nice because I really slowed up my production level of how much I paint, you know, within a year. And it's allowed me to like really focus more on the fashion side and just do cool stuff that I've had ideas to do, but you know, time is everything. So having that time to be able to take native fashion to another level, you know, I've really had a fun time doing it this season.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
As far as prep, like it's kind of crazy because it's just like there's not one day that doesn't go by that I don't do something for Indian market. You know what I mean?
Well, what's your mornings look like? Like you get up, you put on your pants. You don't put on your pants. You make coffee. you just roll out and start pumping out stuff.
Oh man, it's kind of crazy because I mean, I have kids too, so juggling kids with owning your own business is like just madness in itself.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's kind of cool though because they get to see me in the studio, they get to see me work, and so they always get to be a part of that process. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
And I think that's the cooler part about like being an artist and having a family is that like I remember specifically like growing up with our dad, him being an artist, and like, first off, you're at that age when you start going to school, you get up, he gets up with you, drives you to school, helps you get there, feeds you, whatever. Then he comes home and just starts working, all day long. And then you get out of school, you come home, he picks you up, takes you home. And then all of a sudden he's like, all right, cool, I'm going to go back to work. And he just works. And, during that time, he'll be like, oh, I got to move around. Can't sit here and paint all day, And, we got a lot of chances to, observe our dad. And also, he was pretty involved in our lives.
yeah. So with that aspect, it's cool to bring them in and like show them cool stuff that I learned when I was their age. You know what I mean? Like dad would like show us like how to paint, really. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like the cool colors, the types of materials that he would use. And so it just made you fall in love with, the whole, I guess, culture of painting, you know? Because like it's cool to even go into an art store. You know what I mean? When I was a kid, like you could just go get lost in like a big art store.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like he encouraged me to like look at materials and read the labels. You know what I mean? Because like you could see what types of material, like what types of compounds make the material, and like it's just you learn about art and what you can do with these materials. You know what I mean? Because you have all these materials, but it's like ultimately left up to your own imagination and how you put these things together. So
Yeah.
Well, I remember the cool things like dad taking us to Artisans over on Central, right there on like Gerard.
Montezuma.
Yeah, Montezuma. And like just walking around in there, it's like this old school kind of brick and mortar building.
Yeah.
And like just wandering around in there, there's like paints and pastels and like all kinds of like mediums of art just wandering around through there, and just like dreaming of one day being able to like use any of them.
I want all of it.
Yeah. I want to do it all.
I will say it's cool because I remember when I was younger, I was wanting to get into painting, and my dad was like, "Hey, you should talk to your uncle." And so, we met your dad over at, I forget which place it is, off of Carlisle. I want to say it's off of Carlisle.
It would have been maybe Artisans. Maybe that's the
Maybe,
one you're
yeah,
thinking.
maybe it's that one. But I remember we went over there, and your dad was kind of like how you just described, when you were a kid, first time going in, and you're like, and you're saying like there's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool because your dad kind of got me set up with like a watercolor setup. He was like, okay, this would be a good paper to practice and try using.
Yeah.
It's obviously it's better quality than like if you were to go to Hobby Lobby and buy like just like the regular watercolor sketchbook, watercolor book, but like, I picked up one of those, and then we picked up like a watercolor set that he's like, yeah, this is a good starter. And then here's the 3 brushes that you should need to get started, And I just remember, and, when he was telling me, this is what you got to do. You got to take care of them. You got to make sure you wash them, you got to,
Yeah.
And I was, and that was kind of about it. Like I didn't, it's like, I got lessons or anything, I just took it home and started kind of messing around with it. And, that was really cool for me. Cause I was like, wow. Like, and like you said, when you describe like knowing what to look for in your materials, it's like, that's stuff people don't think about, what I mean? Yeah. But like, you being able, like, you remember you said one time, knowing and being able to say like, oh, like, there's this canvas is is dirty here, or it's warped, or it's not, this isn't, and not accepting it, So I thought that was kind of cool because it just reminded me of that, going in that first time and seeing all that stuff.
I've always looked at material, like going to the art store and looking at materials is almost like how like a photographer would look at like technology, right? The best technology or the newest technology, you're going to be able to achieve things that not a lot of people are able to do.
Yeah.
So if you're not in there, you're not looking at new product or researching things and finding out how to use that product in a manner that people haven't thought of before, then you're going to keep pumping out the same stuff.
And
So-
they're all tools, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like to know which tools are needed for what you're doing, you know, is definitely something. So, but yeah, like it's just kind of cool when you guys are talking about that. It just reminded me of that time I had. It was my dad and your dad, and we were down at the art store, and I was like, oh, this is the coolest thing. And I was like, I want to be a painter.
Yeah.
And then I just, you know, it didn't really work out for me, but you know. Oh man, cool. All right, well, hey, we got a few more stories and a few more things to share with you guys. We'll be back in a second. All right.
Hey guys, it's Elle. Just wanted to say thanks for tuning into the show. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe. And remember, do or do not, there is no try, okay? So just do it. It's that easy. All right, back to the show. Hope you guys enjoy. Thanks.
And we're back. And all you out there watching us, listening to us, remember to rate, review, and subscribe and share, because sharing is caring.
Yeah. Man.
You remember when we were kids and people would be like, all our aunts would be like, hey, remember to share, because sharing is what Jesus would do. And like we'd all end up
Jesus says to share.
Jesus says to share. And it was
like,
always
it like turned into a guilt trip for people.
yeah.
Be like, hey, can I have some of that snack? No, it's mine.
Well, Jesus says to share.
And you're like, man, he does.
Jesus says to share our podcast.
So Jesus says to share.
We're gonna make a new shirt. It says,
Yeah, it's
Jesus
like-
says, share your
Yeah, as
podcast.
kids, we weaponize that phrase. It's like, you're not going to give me some of it? Well,
I'm gonna make you feel bad.
yeah, let's see what Jesus says. Oh, man.
Jesus says you should feel bad for not letting me have some.
Yeah, I lost many a snacks to some people with that phrase.
Probably me.
Jesus says, "Give me your land, Indians."
Oh, man. Well, hey, we were talking about, not Wu-Tang. We were talking about something else. We're talking about Indian market. All right. So we're setting the stage here, right? Okay. It's one of the biggest art shows in the Southwest. If not the biggest, right?
Yeah.
And people from all over coming in. You guys are prepping.
Like it's so big that they sell out of hotels,
Yeah.
like hotel rooms, like
Yeah,
the
that's
year
true.
before, like a whole year in advance. Like
Yeah.
if you want to book a hotel room or Airbnb, you got to do it like really far in advance, or you're gonna pay like that premium price. It's crazy.
Yeah, they hike those
crazy.
rates up
Yeah.
like crazy, man. So we heard a little bit about your process on Picasso, but what about you, Mal? What is it? What has it been looking like for you lately? Because previously, when you were younger, you weren't selling.
I wasn't exactly selling a whole all the things I was. I
You
mean,
were male modeling.
yeah, I was doing modeling and doing clothes. Well, I guess my process starts with me taking a shower. Just waking up and trying to get nice and fresh, so that way you can allow those thoughts to just.
I don't want to hear this process. It's just the wrong process. Okay, let's
Let's fast forward to
So you're all showered and you're clean.
Let's go to where
But
you're in
it's
the
a
studio.
mindset.
You're in the studio.
It's
okay.
a mindset.
It's a lot of lotion. Okay, you gotta make sure you have nice soft hands for shaking hands.
Shaking hands.
All those hands you gotta shake.
Shaking hands.
But
Kissing
I mean,
babies.
so yeah, like I had started off doing the modeling and doing that kind of a thing for they had the clothing contest.
Clothing
Yeah,
contest.
fashion. Yeah.
And it wasn't the fashion show, because they do have a fashion show now, but it was the Native American traditional clothing contest.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And a lot of my clothing was passed down.
Mhm.
And so through that, I think I've said before, like I learned how to start sewing at a young age, and pretty soon
Like maintaining your regalia and beadwork and things like that.
Yeah, and so that's how I ended up getting into Indian market was creating, I guess, like chokers and regalia,
Yeah.
and then putting a contemporary spin on it. And then after a while, eventually I grew from there. And so then, I mean, now my process, I went through UNM and I learned, got my background in sewing and in costuming. And so now I'm trying to do, I don't know, dresses and things like that,
Oh, okay.
And so I'm becoming a seamstress,
A teamster.
Teamster.
getting jackets.
I've always wanted to be a teamster. All right. Well, so that's kind of evolved to this point now, right? And
Yeah.
That's kind of what you're doing these days.
Yeah, and so I mean, we joked about the shower thing, but I mean, like a lot of, like I have ADHD, and so a lot of the times when I'm trying to develop my ideas, I have to be like in my own enclosed space. So like sometimes I'll sit in the closet and I'll like think about things, or like even trying to memorize, our openings, or trying to memorize lines. Like too much going on around me, it's hard for me to focus.
Yeah.
Do you think that like comes from like your background in theater, trying to like just be alone and hear your
Yeah. Because I mean, there's so many voices in my head as it is. And like, as funny as that is, it's true. Like you have all those voices in your head telling you that's a good idea, that's a bad idea. I don't know. Do you think like I'm a man, like I identify as a male, but I'm making clothing for women. Like, what right do I have to be, dictating what a woman should wear? At the same time, like, I can't help it. I got all these ideas in my head and I'm trying to do clothing for, anybody.
Yeah. I mean, it's clothing. It's not, it's not like you're making anybody wear anything.
Yeah.
They get the choice. And if they like it, then they like it.
Yeah.
And they're going to wear it,
And so that's that's my process. And, all my anxieties and fears and things dealt into one.
It's intense, man.
Actually, I heard like a study on that about people like that talk about getting their ideas for like creative ventures in the shower, because it's like the sound of the water with the white noise, and like it does something to like the frequency in your brain and allows it to zone out and do the creative things.
I mean, there is something relaxing about just being in the shower. And what I mean by that is to say that, like, I think that like being in the shower is because you said you can think better. Yeah, it's almost therapeutic. And so you actually have a chance to like ponder some stuff, and without the stress of like everything else,
without the constraints that society puts on you.
No, seriously though, like I was watching this like this monk talk about like tones and frequencies, right?
Yeah.
And like how he would hit these bells, and these were to like purify or like this chakra and that chakra, and like in the same thing they were talking about how like the frequency of the white noise of the water in the shower touches on one of those chakras. So
I don't want nothing touching me in the shower.
I don't even like it when my own hair touches me in the shower.
So I mean, I think you're onto something. I think you're both onto something, right? I think there is
showers are important. In an artist's
I don't
process.
know how we got this whole. We were talking about Indian market, and it turned into
that's how you
Malachi's
gotta prepare.
shower routine. But like, I think what would be interesting is if we were to, I don't know, maybe something we could do is show people a little bit behind the scenes of how you guys make that, get to that point.
Just 5 days of me showering.
Well, I'm not saying we do have the GoPro if that's what you're hinting at.
That's going to be my OnlyFans.
I think that would be kind of cool because nobody sees that side of it.
Yeah.
People who've been to the show, they see what the products look like, finished product looks like, but they don't know, how many nights you were up till whenever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So all pulling all nighters, just, trying to make sure, so like, I think that would be kind of cool. What do you guys think? Is that something you guys don't want to do?
I mean, I'm telling you right now, it's going to be a lot of me procrastinating.
Yeah.
Because that's like how I operate. But yeah, like I think that'd be interesting.
Like, okay, I'm over here to film, Mal. Just like, okay. Just gonna play some games real quick.
Oh my gosh. I wish I could be like that.
Oh no.
No, man.
I mean, if you see, I'll because I know like what I do is I stay up until like 3 or 4 in the morning before when I have to wake up at 6 the next morning trying to finish something.
Yeah. You're
And
writing the essay the night before.
Yeah. 20 minutes before class, that was me.
Yeah. I was that person too, but they all was like, the people that brag, oh, I can do that, and then they go and get like an A on that.
That was me.
Well, I was the guy that was getting like C's, and I was like, yeah, I definitely should have put more time in that. Should not have procrastinated. All right, guys. Well, hey, that's something to look forward to down the road, guys, and we're excited to maybe pull back that veil a little bit.
Just a little bit. You don't want to see too much.
Pull back the veil, not the curtain. All right, leave the shower curtain where it's at. But yeah, like we said, Indian markets in you said August 20 week of the 20th,
Yeah.
21st, somewhere in there, and yeah, maybe we'll be able to put something together and give you guys a little look into how it all goes down. So, okay, guys.
Yeah. Just remember to rate, review, and subscribe, and remember to share.
Sharing is caring.
Share. Jesus says to share.
Jesus says to share.
All right, man. You guys have a good week. We'll catch you next week.
Take. Walter.